Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I want to tell you about our friends over at Streetside Brewery, my favorite brewery in Cincinnati, located again in the Columbia Tusculum neighborhood on the east side. It is such a cool spot. It is a spot that I love watching away matches in particular. To be honest with you, I may be watching the Miami game from Streetside. We'll see how that shakes out. Okay. This is a really cool spot. Love being out there. They have lots of live music. They've got tons of really cool events and community events in particular that they do. So go check out their website. Link is in the description. They are also available in retail. So if you see them out and about, by all means, pick up a couple of cans, support our dear friends at Streetside, because God love them. They support us, and we appreciate that. And we appreciate them sponsoring this and so many other episodes of the Postcast. And on today's episode, nobody wants to listen to this, right? I get it. You get it. Nobody wants to do this, but we got to talk about it. FC Cincinnati went up 2-0 against Columbus Crew. Then something else happened. It's a little fuzzy, and we did not get any points out of the match. I think that's how that went. So we talk about it. Okay. We talk about it. And then we talk in part two, some bigger picture. All right. We're looking ahead. We're looking at what that might look like, what this means. What might happen later this summer, next year. We take stock of where we are. And then, because the soccer gods are cruel and unforgiving, part 3 is a preview of an Inter Miami matchup as they come to town this week, not weekend, this week, Wednesday. Busquets, Messi, Suarez, Alba, all of them, they're very young children from various parts of South America come to try to beat us, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so you put all that together, you got yourselves what I think will be a controversial episode of the Postcast.
Well, that happened. Here to guide you through the rubble of what was shaping up to be a magical night at TQL Stadium, until it wasn't. Joining me, as always, is Grayson, who spent the night clutching his spreadsheets like they were life preservers on the Titanic, and Chief, who has already written 3 hot takes on a bar napkin and tried to fax them to Pat Noonan.
Excuse me, Kevin. First of all, if the Titanic had a midfield like ours did Saturday night, it would have sunk sooner. Secondly, I'm not clutching spreadsheets. I'm just here to point out that we actually won the XG battle, which is like winning Best Supporting Actor in a movie you starred in and still got killed off in the first 10 minutes.
But nobody cares about expected goals when you blow a 2-goal lead at home to Columbus. That's like being up 2 rounds on Ivan Drago and then deciding to fight with one hand tied behind your back. Embarrassing. This was Die Hard 2 levels of bad. Same setup, way worse outcome.
Right, because when I think of tactical breakdowns, I immediately think of Bruce Willis on an airplane runway. But yeah, FC Cincinnati goes up 2-0 in the first 10 minutes. Pavel Bucha scores 39 seconds in, Evander makes it 2 by the 5th minute, and at that point it felt like TQL was about to turn into a nightclub. And then, well, Columbus happened.
Yeah, Columbus happened is one way to say it. Another way is discipline evaporated, miscommunications piled up, and Miles Robinson scored on his own net. So, yeah, that's not in the playbook.
I mean, respect to Miles for falling on the sword after the game, but let's be real, this loss is on everybody. It was like watching a Transformers movie. Loud, confusing, full of explosions, and by the end you're just sitting there wondering, what did I just see?
Also, for the record, Columbus fans chanting "This is our house" at TQL again? That's like getting pantsed at your own birthday party. It's going to stick with us for a while.
Statistically, that chant has a 100% success rate in making me want to walk into the Ohio River. I was this close to jumping in with you, buddy. But first, I had to tweet some things I'll probably regret later.
Of course you did. All right, folks. Coming up on the show, we're going to break down what went wrong, what went really wrong, and whether this was just a bad night or the start of something worse. We'll talk about Pat Noonan's comments, dissect the midfield issues, and yes, I promise we'll get into Denke's missed sitter.
Spoiler alert, I've got opinions, and they're spicy.
Plus, we'll look ahead to Miami on Wednesday.
All right, let's get into it. The starting 11 for Saturday night's roller coaster of pain.
FCC rolled out Roman Celentano in goal. Back three of Lucas Engel, Matt Miazga, the captain, and Miles Robinson. On the wings, Luca Oriano and DeAndre Yedlin. Midfield trio of Tabrian Anuga, Pavel Bucha, and Evander. Up top, Kei Kamara and Kevin Denke. So, fellas, when you saw that lineup, what were you thinking?
I'll tell you what I was thinking. Kei Kamara, again. Look, respect to the man. He's a legend, sure. But we're starting a 40-year-old striker against one of the fastest teams in MLS. That's like bringing a butter knife to a gunfight.
Oh, come on, Chief. It wasn't just about Kamara. It's not like Denke covered himself in glory either. And to be fair, Kamara almost had one in the first half. His legs didn't finish the chance, but his mind was there. His mind is still elite.
Great. Maybe we can get his mind to play striker next week, because his feet look like they were running in sand.
All right. Kamara discourse, check. But what about the midfield? We got Bucha scoring inside the first minute, and Evander doing what Evander does, but Anunga starting instead of Dotto? That raised some eyebrows.
Yeah, that was interesting. Anunga's a solid defensive presence, but asking him to go toe-to-toe with Columbus's midfield in transition? That's like asking a stagehand to suddenly perform the lead in Les Miserables. It's just not his role.
Wait, are we going to do the theater references this early in the show? Should I start quoting Die Hard again just to balance it out?
Please don't. But yeah, Grayson, you're right. The midfield felt like a patchwork job. Bucha's doing the work of two people, Evander's getting hacked down all night, and Anunga's kind of there to break up play, but once the ball's at his feet, it's like nobody knows what happens next.
Also, let's not forget, the pass completion numbers were technically good, but that's because 218 of them came from the back three. It was like watching a soccer version of Keep Away. Hey, Matt Miazga, you take it. No, Miles, you have it. Oh, hey, Engel, your turn. Meanwhile, the midfield's just waving their hands like, hey, guys, can we play too?
And Oriano, look, I don't know what happened to the guy who had 17 goal contributions last year, but this version, this is the straight-to-DVD sequel of Oriano. He's out there putting up invisible man numbers.
Yeah, Luca's definitely been more Luca forgettable than Luca fantastic lately.
And yet, he's still starting, which tells you how thin this roster is in spots. Either he finds his form soon, or Chris Albright's got to start making some calls.
Which, to be fair, should work.
Unless they're both stuck making runs into empty space. Like they were for most of the second half.
Exactly. Evander's doing ballet pirouettes just to stay on his feet while getting fouled 7 times. Denke's out here channeling Charlie Brown trying to kick the football. And the service from the wings is, well, let's call it aspirational.
So yeah, the lineup, it looked fine on paper. But once the game started, it became real clear real fast. We've got some problems. And Columbus made sure every single one of them showed up on camera. All right, let's get into the actual game because, folks, this was a match of 2 very different chapters. First 10 minutes, absolute dream. Ucha scores in 39 seconds. Evander adds another in the 5th minute. TQL's rocking, the fans are losing their minds, and Columbus looks like they just walked into the wrong building.
Yeah, I thought we were about to win 10-1 and send Columbus back up I-71 with a police escort straight to a sad pizza party in their training room.
Honestly, I was halfway to texting the group chat, print the supporters' shield shirts.
But then the game kept going. And suddenly, Columbus remembers Columbus. They settle in, start dictating the pace, and our guys, they start playing like they've just finished the game after 10 minutes, and we're wondering why no one else went home.
Exactly. We went from high press, fast transitions to here, Columbus, you have the ball now. It was like watching an action movie where the hero knocks out the villain in the first scene, then just sits down to have brunch while the villain gets back up.
And the villain definitely got back up. The next 80 minutes were basically a montage of FCC losing composure, players not making the same runs, miscommunications left and right. It was like a dress rehearsal where no one got the script.
Let's talk about the goals. Columbus gets one back in the 23rd minute, courtesy of a little defensive chaos, and then, here we go. The momentum shifts. You could feel it.
Oh, yeah. It was like watching one of those haunted house movies where you realize, oh, no, we're not getting out of this alive.
That first Columbus goal, it wasn't even a tactical breakdown. It was just sloppiness. A loose ball, a bad rotation, and suddenly we're chasing shadows.
Second half starts and it's more of the same. We can't get the ball into dangerous spots. Denke has that sitter, a golden chance to tie it up at 3-3. And let's just say he's still looking for that ball somewhere near the West End parking lot.
I think that shot is currently in orbit. NASA's tracking it.
It's like a deleted scene from Grant.
And then, of course, there's Miles Robinson's own goal in the 59th minute. Look, he owned it after the match. He said, put the blame on me. But honestly, I don't know if that's fair. He's trying to block a cross. He's in the right spot. It just happens.
Yeah, but the own goal was just the symbolic dagger. That was the moment where everyone in the stadium was like, oh, we're actually going to lose this, aren't we?
The vibes went from party to funeral with a cash bar real quick.
After that, Columbus piles on. We end up losing 4-2 at home, and to make it worse, the Crew fans start chanting, "This is our house," again at TQL Stadium. It's deja vu from the Eastern Conference Final, except this time it wasn't even close.
It was like rewatching a bad movie sequel where you already know the ending, but you still sit through it hoping for a twist, and there's no twist, just pain.
And let's be clear, the stats are going to tell you this game was close. We had 408 completed passes and 87% pass accuracy in the second half. But when you dig into it, most of that was just the back line playing catch. The midfield got bypassed, the strikers were stranded, and Columbus picked us apart.
So yeah, a tale of two games. First 10 minutes, we looked like the best team in MLS. The next 80, we looked like a team still stuck in those 10 minutes.
Well, at least we didn't technically get blown out.
Chief, it was 4-2 at home, and they chanted, "This is our house." We got blown out spiritually.
All right, folks, it's time for the part of the show where we ask the question everyone is thinking after a loss like this. Is it time to panic about Pat Noonan?
All right, we're back here with part two, and Chief, I think it would probably behoove us, I like saying behoove,
Yeah,
to
it's a good word.
look a little bigger picture with the result.
Did you screw with the audio settings? You sound a little different right now.
I might have had a
Hold on. Is it on my end?
wait, hang on. I had a setting flipped that whole first segment. Whoops.
Are you serious? Because I count on you to record this. What's going on here?
It'll be fine. It'll
Are you
be
sure?
fine.
Can you fix that?
We'll see.
No, just cut this part out then. Nobody needs to hear this. Behoove. Great word.
Behoove.
Love that. Love that for you. Love that for the listeners. You know, just if you're going to get one thing good out of listening to this episode, maybe we pick up another word to add to our conversations.
but it does behoove us to look big picture here. Chief, what is it? Just part of me just wants to go, MLS is weird. Good teams lose to bad teams sometimes. Good teams lose to good teams sometimes. And through the randomness of it all, the only thing you can look at is directional. And directionally, FC Cincinnati has been excellent. Or is it every single time that this team has been in a position to win a high pressure game, it has lost it, or almost every time? It is certainly in the losing balance of those games.
Yeah. I've been struggling with this since last night a little bit.
Yeah.
And it does feel okay. So let's back up a second before we get to this.
Yeah.
What do we define as a big game? Like, what is it that meets that threshold? Because for me, I want to make sure we're talking on the same page here. For me, a big game is a playoff game, a cup game,
Yep.
or a game against, we'll say, a top 4 opponent in league, in Eastern Conference play.
Yeah.
That would be what I would consider to be a big game. Am I missing anything, or is that too broad? Like, is last night even a big game? Because to the fans it is, but I and we had Kai Kamara on in the midweek episode. He said it was a big game and the players were talking about it. But is it a big game? Does Pat Noonan even consider this to be a big game?
Yeah. And you have the added context of like Miami is coming just a couple of days later. So, you probably do hold something back, hold something in reserve. You don't want to literally leave it out there all on the field and then get wiped by Miami. And it's, the same thing.
I don't know that I buy that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because intuitively, it feels like this team does not show up in the biggest moments. It didn't show up and this is going back to 2003, has a chance to put Miami away in the open. 2023, yeah. Sorry, 2023. Has a chance to put Miami away in the Open Cup, doesn't do it. Has a chance to put Columbus away, Eastern Conference Finals, doesn't do it. Next year, it has a chance to put New York away, doesn't do it. Leagues Cup, spits the bit in Leagues Cup, hasn't really done well in CONCACAF Champions Cup either year. They've never won a game they weren't supposed to win in that tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Drew
Like, that's
Matagua. You know what I mean? Like,
right. At home.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. What is Pat Noonan's signature win as a coach right now?
This
Miami last year, 6-1?
6-1 Miami win, and
that New York Red Bulls win in year 1?
Yeah.
To the playoffs?
I was thinking either that or the playoff series, but like we were, the year 1 were the underdogs, I think, going into that game and seeding wise. And we should have won, and we're expected to win against the Red Bulls in 2023, that series. So like it was good. Like it was well done, like entertaining, but like the better team should have won, probably should have won a little earlier. Didn't need to go 3 games there. Yeah, it's the Miami game or that Philly game from 2023, right?
The one after the Red Bulls series in the playoffs, right?
Or I was thinking the regular season game where we beat them like 4-1 or 3-1 or something. Yeah.
I mean, the Philly game in the playoffs that advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, I guess you would say that's probably.
Oh, I even forgot about that one. Yeah, that's probably
it. I don't know. The point is, though, is that it's you go to games like this and you have to, coming out of them, you have to just sort of look at where and take stock of where the team is when it comes to this sort of stuff. They did not look impressive in the first leg at Columbus, drawing 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
And then they flat out fell on their face yesterday in this game, or on Saturday in this game here.
Yeah.
And The players said it was important, so I'm going to take them at their word. I'm going to take Kai Kamara at his word when he says it was an important game and the players were talking this up.
Yeah.
They didn't look like it. I mean, they came out hotter than a firecracker, but the rest of the game, you'd be hard-pressed to say the better team didn't win.
Yeah.
And I know people want to talk about, they got lucky here. They got an own goal there. I'm sorry, man. Over the course of 180 minutes of soccer, the Columbus Crew have just looked better. Like the vast majority of those 180 minutes. And I don't know whether it is a Pat Noonan big game thing or just that we keep running into, like, I think Wilfred Nancy is just a better coach than Pat Noonan. I'm sorry, like the data points are out there at this point, and it is what it is. I don't think that makes Pat Noonan a bad coach, but I think you got to say Wilfred Nancy's better. He's got the results that are better. He's got the individual head-to-head results over Noonan that are better. And to a certain extent, like, I don't know how much this team's big game problem is just the fact they keep running into the best teams in MLS. And we're just not at that level right now. I don't know. Is that a defeatist? Like, I feel like we should be expecting more, though.
So here's the funny thing. Since 2022, we have finished above Columbus every year but one and are currently above them now. By 1 point, sure. But we've played the same number of matches. We've played very similar opponents. Like, I'm willing to say that Nancy's probably a better manager. Hell, Pat Noonan might even agree with that. I don't know. But at the same time, like, if he is that much better, you'd expect there to be more better regular season results from Columbus. They don't have that, at least in comparison to FC Cincinnati. But I almost wonder if it's more like, and this is going to be a dumb comparison for a lot of reasons, but it's the only thing that comes to mind. So if you have a better one, please jump in. It's like the Kansas City Chiefs are a better football team than the Bengals, but for some reason, Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, and the Bengals are like the only team that can actually beat Kansas City. It's like, are the Bengals good? Sure. They're on average, they're the better, a good team, not a better team than anybody, but they're on average, they're a good team. But for some reason, they've got Kansas City's number a lot of the time. And I almost wonder if it's more that it's just like the way that they are built, their structure and everything. It's just like perfectly designed to hit against every single one of our weaknesses. Because, like, we lost to Philly, but we also beat Nashville. We'll see what happens against Miami. We'll see what happens. I mean, we beat Orlando. We've put away the Red Bulls. Like, we're better than the other good teams in the East, I feel like. So I mean, other than Philly ate our breakfast when we played them the one time. I am very interested to see how that return leg will go. But yeah, I'll absolutely concede that, and they're ahead of us on the table. So that is reflected. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know, though. Bengals analogy makes sense? I don't know.
Right. I don't know. It's the word, I think Zach Blanford in the Discord put it out there. It was Mark Jackson watch. Ooh. It's not a warning. It's a watch right now. And the name that I came back with was Marty Schottenheimer, where legend of an NFL coach, 200 wins, but famously could not get it done in the biggest moments. And for the NFL, that's the postseason, where he's got a desperately losing record in the playoffs. Like, he was fired after winning over 10 games because the Chargers were just, we can't do this anymore. We can't keep losing in the playoffs.
And he was like a year or two removed from the Chargers having the number one defense and number one offense, and
went 14-2 that year, number one overall seed.
Yeah.
And they lost in the divisional round. I don't know. I don't want to put that label on Noonan yet, because it still does feel like it's a fairly small sample size. He's had now 3 playoff runs.
Yeah.
He's made the playoffs all 3 years. I think this year, if they spit the bit in the playoffs again this year, I think you got to start asking some questions about whether or not he has taken this team as far as he can take it. Like, the the analogy I always go to, and again, it's the NFL because the NFL is sort of like where, well, no, it's for better or worse. It's the most pressure filled sport in American sports.
Right.
It's like the pressure to succeed is probably the highest in the NFL, and the coaches are the highest profile of any type of, coach or manager in professional sports. And the one that, is close to my heart was, Tony Dungy was an incredible coach for the Buccaneers back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But they made the call that he had taken them as far as he was going to be able to. They fired him. They brought in John Gruden, and they won a Super Bowl. But like the problem is I was also thinking about this as a carry-on idea.
Yeah.
That like if you had to rate him, Tony Dungy was probably overall the better coach than John Gruden. Had a better career, had a longer career.
Yeah.
He just at that moment in time, he could not get over the hump in the playoffs. And I'm curious that if this team, and I see the discourse, Noonan out, Noonan's taken this team further than he's got him as far as they can go. He's not right for the squad. I've been guilty of saying some of that in the past, but I am wondering to this idea of you might find a better manager than Pat Noonan in terms of can take this team to a title. But I don't know you're going to find a better manager that is more stable and wins as much as Pat Noonan does the rest of the time. So the question becomes, are you willing to like risk tossing the stability of Pat Noonan out for the chance that someone comes in, lights a fire under this team, takes them on a run through MLS Cup, wins a title, and then doesn't have the ability to sustain that? And you're now looking for that level of stability that Noonan had the entire time. I don't know that you always love what's on the other end.
Yeah.
After you make that choice to get rid of a manager.
I also think too, like and that sort of framing is the framing that everybody uses, and I absolutely have used before. But I was thinking about this too. I want to frame it slightly differently, which is what's wrong with being the really, really good regular season team that has some misfortune in the playoffs? Because I'll put it this way. If you were to give me the wild card of you could win a title, you could end up with a couple of spoons in a row, or I give you a baseline of a top 4 finish every year, you might get lucky every once in a while and get better than that. I think it's the way smarter play to say, give me the more stable, competent baseline and see if Albright can't work magic and bringing in a couple of pieces here or there that you didn't expect, and that being the difference rather than putting it all on a manager. Because,
No, so what I was going to say is that, like, I had this thought today, too, and this is probably the first time anyone has ever in the history of human thought, like, carried this idea around in their head.
Please.
Would Marty Schottenheimer have been fired if the NFL had a supporters shield?
Ooh. Yeah, right? I wonder how many NBA coaches in the future will be saved with a in-season tournament commissioner's
In-season
cup.
tournament. No,
Yeah.
like, think about that. Think about if there was a trophy, and the second most prestigious trophy behind the Lombardi was, the Tom Brady or whatever you want to name it, where it is given to the team with the best regular season record that finishes at the top.
Hell, it might be the Marty Schottenheimer.
Right, it might be the Marty Schottenheimer. The Jim Kelly, the Hall of Very Good. But like, how many careers would have been saved if that was a thing? And so, like, that's when you have a coach like Pat Noonan or a manager like Pat Noonan, it does feel like the shield is always going to be in play just because of how stable and how this team rarely drops a bunch of points in a row or rarely plays itself out of contention. I mean, even last year, they were top of the shield race well into, July.
Yep.
So I'm frustrated by last night, but like the problem I have with it and the problem with all the hot takes and where we're at is I'm struggling to assign, number one, how much of the blame for last night was the roster, how much of it is Pat Noonan, I'm struggling to assign sort of a fault between of what went wrong last night, how much of it was the tactics that were being employed or the players available to employ them, given like some of the injuries and things the team's dealing with.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, too, I'm struggling to understand just how much can you ever really get up or down about one result in the course of an MLS season, even if it is to us the most important result of the season. Like I don't know. Maybe I'll have a different thought after they play Miami in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Because, they'd won their previous, 4?
Yeah.
So they were on a 4-game win streak. So they have won, like, objectively, they have won 4 out of 5 games. It's just they lost the one we all cared the most about.
Right.
But would the discourse be any better if they had lost 4 games coming into this and they had won this? I don't know if the strength of the rivalry is such that I would really be walking around talking a lot of smack if this team was on a 4-game losing streak and finally broke through with one. I'd have to see what the game looked like.
Yeah, right. I mean, to be clear, I would absolutely be willing to talk some shit. Yeah, it is funny too. It's like, okay, you can imagine a world where we beat Miami and that's 5 wins and 6 and it looks good. And would you trade beating Columbus to lose to Miami? I think most people would, but
no. Oh, yeah. Lose to Miami to beat Columbus. Yeah, 1,000 times out of 1,000.
But as far as the season's concerned, it's the same thing. So, it's weird. And I don't know how to judge it. And yet, like, we got guys missing for sure, but that's also, just what everybody has to deal with. Absolutely. So I'm not looking to get too excited there. There's a ton of money sitting on the bench or is otherwise unavailable that you do scratch your head at with the overall roster build. And, there's so many different ways you could go with this. The substitutions last night, I think were generally fine, but just like the insistence on having 3 center backs when you're losing, it's just,
yeah. And 2, it's I would be happier. I could feel more confident not making this a Pat Noonan conversation if we had seen something in the second half of that game or after that game was tied that resembled a managerial adjustment.
Right.
Where, they're going to be trying this right now, or somebody has moved into a more forward position, or now they're going to do this with the way Columbus is playing. This is where I desperately wish that we had better breakdowns of film and moments and tactics, because like I would love to know, just tell me Pat was doing something.
Right.
Even if it wasn't working, like somebody tell me, oh no, you see, like they were trying to do this and then that didn't work. But like what it looked like to the dipshit fan watching was just that Nancy made adjustments. Columbus scored 4 unanswered goals. FC Cincinnati had absolutely no answers. And I don't like how that feels as sort of my takeaway from this game. I wish there was something that I had, but I'm not smart enough to see it if it's there, because it just did not feel like Pat had answers when Nancy did his Wilfred Nancy thing.
Well, it's so weird too, because again, like part of the philosophy is, well, okay, this team isn't, the high flying offensive, free flowing attacking juggernaut because they are so defensively stout. They will crush teams into dust 1-0 over and over and over. And then
they don't do that, though.
The one time you want them to do that, they won't do it. They won't step on the throat to.
But they didn't do it. We played them in the Eastern Conference Finals. They didn't do it to Miami. It's for a team and a coaching staff that makes its money and likes to talk about. You get all these quotes from Matt Miazga, like, don't worry, we're comfortable absorbing pressure. You don't look like it.
No.
And you don't act like it when it really matters.
It's so frustrating. And again, like, I'm sure there's 101 excuses, but like, if that's the identity of the team, that has to be it. And if you can't do that piece of it, can we have like a couple of attackers out there at the same time? I liked the Dado for a Nunga sub. I thought that was like an interesting shift in the 60th minute when we're already, down. We're losing the game at that point. Ugh.
Yeah, but like here's the problem too: is that the Dotto for a Nunga sub, it's fine. The problem is it just doesn't really change some of the fundamentals that are just wrong,
right?
Or that are tough with this team, and that's that they are so addicted to this wingback system that it makes it so difficult to take advantage of opportunities to pour it on. And the reason why I say that is that when teams pour it on, like when you score that third goal and that fourth goal, how does that usually happen in MLS? It happens route one, because a team is moving more pieces forward, and then you get a line breaking pass, and all of a sudden you're off to the races. You don't see that happen from out wide because it's really hard on a break to go from being out wide to get back central. It's an extra move that the defense, and especially if someone's chasing from behind, it's that ball isn't played right, or it's not played in stride. Like you have to have that like precision type pass of an Evander to do that. And like we don't have that ability to just break teams down directly through the middle because our midfield is so it's depleted because we're playing people out wide.
Yeah. Yep. And with Evander floating around, there's only the two real midfielders there. So yeah, it's super easy to get overrun. Columbus had a midfield of 4 guys. And Arfson and Moraria are more than able to push up. So all of a sudden our dudes are always outnumbered, and it was just crushing. And I don't know. You'd think I'm not saying he would have won the game for us, but he could have dropped Angle and put Corey Baird up. It just clog up the midfield. Just be a pest. Just chase down every ball, get open for passes, make them think about you. And I don't know. Like I think that would have worked.
Yeah.
At least
but it feels weird that we keep
we
keep having the same conversation after losses though. And like this team loses the same way every single time. When they lose, it's because they cannot get the ball through the middle of the field. And they can't stop teams from moving the ball through the middle of the field. Like this team loses the same way every single time. They lose because they get overrun in the midfield, and then teams attack down the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the defense every single time. That's just the way it goes. Is teams dominate the right-hand side and overrun the midfield. Like the possession charts you see, I was just checking while we were talking. Blue Sky hasn't released the latest heat maps or anything like that. It's always the same thing with Cincinnati. The middle of the field is the opponents and the right-hand side of the attacking third is the opponents. And then we take the crumbs that are left over from there. Like, I just wish there was something different to do. And so it brings me to this question that I've also been wrestling with, and I'm kind of curious of your take on. So we're going to see this team play Miami in a couple days. But before we get to that, like, as it stands right now, we're in the middle of probably the toughest run of games this team's going to have for a while until we get to Leagues Cup. Like this is a tough run for the schedule here. Where are you right now after watching this game in terms of what does this team need to do at the summer window? And what would you be looking to do now to correct some of the weaknesses this team has? Knowing that the only player that we have in for certain, and the only player we've even been connected to, as best any of us can tell, is Ender Echenike that they've already announced the signing of. But where do you think signings or player or personnel changes can make this problem better for the team?
So the answer is no. Like, if this is the system, there isn't like a signing that is going to change it. Like, you could absolutely convince me that we should, and I will say with whatever little crumbs of numbers I see, we could go out and get a designated player number 8. Give me a super buka, as it were. And well, I think that would really, really help us. But it doesn't change the fact that you'd only have 2 midfielders trying to play against 3, 4, sometimes 6 other opponents. And I don't care if you've got, golden age Luka Modric back there. Like it's not going to fix the overall problems. I think having another wingback or even two might help from like an exhaustion point of view. So the talent drop off isn't so steep. I think that would be helpful. You could certainly argue for, love Kai to death in the abstract. It shouldn't be too difficult to find an upgrade on his position. And yet here we are. So I don't know that there is a signing or even a place where I would say they need to go out and do it, because the other thing is they are in second place with this roster. Like, this roster as currently constructed is good enough to get them to a really good place in the playoffs. And I guess if the point of view is playoffs are a crapshoot, the regular season is something you can control, and we're good at what we can control, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs, then there is absolutely no reason to go out and really truly target a big money signing or a position group. If an opportunity comes up, by all means, you're always listening, you're always poking around. You want the scouting department working, but no, man, I don't think there's I don't like this answer, to be clear, but yeah.
I think there has to be. And I think that they need to. I think the need is more imperative right now than it has been in the past, that they're going to need to, I think, buy out some people to free some space up. I think that they have two buyouts to use. I think they have got to buy out Corey Baird. I'm sorry. It's too much money sitting on the bench for a player that you are using in basically, we have to put someone on and he's the only one available. He's not even a choice to start ever. And for that much money on the bench, you can find someone cheaper, or you can use that money to find someone better with the money that you already have available. I don't love saying this. If he ain't going to play, they got to buy Yuya Kubo out. Like either him or Sergio Santos. I know that they're injured. I don't know what Grayson would know the rules on exactly what you have to do to reach an injury settlement with the player.
Right.
But, the number one ability is availability. And Santos and Kubo specifically, I think Kubo has been available for less than a third of the games played so far this year.
Yeah.
It's like we don't even know what's wrong with him.
Right.
Like, he played, he looked good, and then all of a sudden he wasn't available again. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, it would be one thing if we had more information about this, but in the absence of information, or the absence of what's wrong with him, what's his timetable for recovery, it's killing the team to have him. I think between he and Santos, it's about 1.8 million, 1.9 million that the two of them are making, something like that combined.
It's half your salary cap, by the way.
Yeah, that's you can take both those salaries off the books. That is a max TAM player right there. Yeah. You can go out and you can sign a max TAM player. And if you go sign another max TAM player, that's someone who you can pencil into the starting lineup immediately right now. That's a max TAM striker, immediate starter right there. Your second striker next to Kevin Denke. Max TAM midfielder, like a second box-to-box midfielder that can pair along with Pavel and maybe play in that like replacement for Obi role, where he's asked to be a little more defensive in his box-to-box play style.
Yeah,
there you've improved the weakness of this team, the midfield right there. I just think that now, I think there is enough of a body of evidence of when things have gone wrong for this team that's what needs to be corrected, is that they need to have, because then what they do is then now Anunga's available off the bench to help calm this game down, instead of being the person you're taking off to try and to get a result desperately.
Yeah. I mean, if that's in the cards, I think it would help for sure. I mean, I'm not going to argue against more talent coming into this team. I just worry that overall, it's not necessarily going to do anything different that we haven't seen. And I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong about that. So
next big picture question for you.
Please.
Miles Robinson.
Oh.
Are we worried?
Man.
Because let me tell you, here's where I have
Please
some
tell,
thoughts.
tell me
Number
your
one,
thoughts. Yes, because
right.
I don't know how to feel about him
All
right
right.
now.
Why didn't he play at the Gold Cup?
I guess my theory is he is permanently locked into like the third or fourth center back spot. So at this Gold Cup, they already know they like him, so they want to see who is fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. And so he never gets to play. And then when it's the A team, he gets called up, but he's the backup, so he never gets to play. I don't know. But it is weird that he keeps getting called up and like never plays.
Yeah, like he went to the Olympics and barely played.
Yeah.
Like, or he played? No, he played a little bit at the Olympics.
Yeah, but
I'm misremembering that. But no, it's like he keeps getting called up. This one was like, but like when he gets called up, he sits, doesn't get a lot of minutes and comes back super rusty.
Yeah.
And like this has happened now like twice. We've lost a center back. We lost Hadabi for a month amid political turmoil. Yep. He comes back not fit, still injured.
Yep.
Miles comes back after spending a month away from the team, barely playing, and he looks awful because he's rusty. And I love the guy, but like this keeps happening. They keep losing Miles Robinson and it takes him forever to get back into form. I'm just kind of sick of a max TAM player missing games. And then he functionally missed this last game because he was awful.
Right. to say nothing of the own goal.
Right.
Yeah.
No, to say something to the own goal. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. Like you can't. I understand like the vibe out there is that it wasn't Miles's fault on the own goal. Sorry, every own goal is your fault. Like do something different that doesn't result in an own goal. Like I have no time for the it's not your fault own goal. Be better. Like there are thousands of clearances that happen in a soccer match that don't result in an own goal.
Fair enough.
Put your foot someplace else. Do something different. Like the own goal is the only unforgivable sin that you can commit as a defender.
Yes. So I mean, I think with him, you just gotta hope that he loses his spot on the national team. And then I think he'd be fine. Like, I know he's not everybody's favorite center back, but he is really good. He's one of the fastest players in the league. All the advanced metrics love him. Obviously, Pochettino loves him enough to call him in, for whatever that is worth. There are certainly players that Poch did not call in that a lot of people would argue are more talented. So yeah, like that speaks well of him. Obviously, FC Cincinnati likes him. I do think it's interesting. He has what I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm not going to go pull it up. He either has an option for next year or they have to re-sign him. Either way, a decision is to be made this year about him. I suspect he'll be back. I could see signing him and seeing if there are offers out there, maybe. But no, I think he's ours. I think that's good. I think him and Miazga are good pieces to build around for the next couple of years. But and it is very frustrating that he is always missing. He does seem to be keen to be missing, and for nothing.
Right. It's also it hurts in this setting too, where it's like Max Arfston went away and he scored.
Yeah, right.
Like
right.
Their guy came back in form. Our guy didn't. That sucks.
Their 19-year-old kid, her 20-year-old like academy product subbed in and scored. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So you can do that. That's an option. Yeah, 19-year-old Taha Haborn. Cool. Oh, I don't know, man. Like, I think big picture, this team is fine, but it's frustrating to have these little like heat check moments, gut check moments of like, where do we actually stand in comparison to teams that we want to be better than? Like specifically this team we want to be better than, or, Philly, we want to be better than them for any number of reasons. And we keep failing the test. Like the only team that we do seem to pass that test consistently is Red Bull.
Yeah. Yeah. But also like, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know what fixes it.
Yeah.
And I don't have the ability, like the Noonan lovers, and there's Noonan lovers and there's Noonan haters. I'm a results lover. I don't care who gets them. I just want results.
Mhm.
I want to win. And it's like the table on one hand, the big games on the other hand. The picture doesn't make sense, I think, unless you start to develop a narrative that there's a fundamental difference in how games get managed was when the lights get brighter. And we're left wanting in those moments more often than not. And I don't know. It's
Chief.
They're big players on Columbus. They show up.
See, that's where I wanted to go
big
next.
Moments.
Yes.
They're big players.
How do we judge the players in this? Because like when the team is doing well, we don't have a lot of conversations about, is Pat Noonan the greatest manager in MLS history, and should we be giving him a lifetime contract? But the second we get a bad result, it's, I don't know about his future. How much do we blame the players? I mean, obviously Noonan didn't coach. I mean, I assume he didn't coach Miles Robinson to score an own goal.
Right.
How much do the players own this, and how much of this is a roster question?
I don't know. Enough, a lot, because I mean, they're not the ones that are picking the formation, and they're not the ones where, it's very obvious that like Nancy makes a change or the crew start playing better when they change up what they're doing in terms of how they are attempting to break FC Cincinnati's, the defense down.
Yeah.
The press was bad. And I think that's on the players. I think that there's a problem on this team defensively that Evander isn't a good presser. He just does not, for all of the incredible things Evander does with the ball.
Yeah.
He scores another goal in this game. The effort level is kind of low when it comes to him getting up in people's grill on the press. And the problem with that is that the press is a weak link system. And if one person isn't doing their job, then everybody else expended a shitload of effort for nothing because that guy's man gets beat. And it's too often with Evander. He just, it makes the front line of the press, which is where the press needs to start. When they play out the back, it makes that ineffective. And then now you're chasing the ball as opposed to being in position. So I do think that some of this is on the players. Like somebody's got to get on Evander a little bit and say, hey, we're all busting our ass here.
Yeah.
We're, Denke and Kai, they're gutting it. Kai's 41 years old and he's given max effort on the press. Evander can give a better effort on the press. Pavel Buka is working his ass off. We can get a little more out of Evander when it comes to him playing defense. So yeah, I think some of it's on the players. The other one is there's another shitty game from Luca Orishano. What are we doing here with this guy? Like we thought that he just needed to see one, or I thought he just needed to see one go in, and that would be like, okay, lid off the bucket, light on. Kind of just going through the motions out there this game too. And defense was once again bad, which we've said I don't care about, but you got to be offering something going the other end. And when you're up 2-0, like that should be times for Orishano to feast, where people are moving forward and he can use his ball skills to beat a man, get behind the defense, and go off to the races. There's none of that in this game. Man,
he's a question mark going forward. In time, not attacking, although also maybe in attacking, where you wonder, what his future is, and if he left this summer, I could see it. It pains me, but it would make a lot of sense if there was a decent money offer out there for him to recoup some of that.
So maybe this is the question. I do think that there was a lot on the players on this. I thought the effort level was, frankly poor overall in this match. And after the big early lead, I know we covered this in the first segment, but like after the big lead, there wasn't the fierce sense of urgency that you need when you're playing a rival. Like they had the crowd with them. They had the energy with them. The start could not have been better. And it's like, you pissed that away because you did not understand the assignment. Yeah. They understood what they needed to do to get back into this game. You did not understand. The players did not understand what they needed to do on the field in order to keep them down
Yeah.
and just not let them get the hope their way back into this game. But given that, and given what we've seen, do you think that there needs to be, or that we're looking at potentially a big move in the offseason, or not the offseason, the summer window, a name that you trust not being on this team after the end of the window, or a name that you know not being on this team at the end of the window?
Yeah, I mean, there's always been smoke around Orishano, right? So
Right.
it would make sense. I know that we turned down apparently $5 million last year. I think if somebody offers you 3 or 4, you're thinking a little differently right now. I don't know 100% what his transfer fee was. Probably something like 4.5. So I think if you could break even there, I could see Albright pulling the trigger on that right now. Yeah, and like you said, the buyouts have to be on the table. There's a ton of salary that is not even on the bench, and it is regularly unavailable. And when it is available and on the field, it is always subpar. It's disappointing. So yeah, I certainly think
specifically one of the starters, like Luka. Anyone else? Would you consider anyone else?
No, and like, you're not going to send Angle back like early from his loan. You're not going to get anything from Miles Robinson. You're not going to get. Does somebody want Yedlin? If you could get a trade for Yedlin for some GAM, and Echenike walks into the starting 11 or is splitting time with Powell before becoming the starter, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how they view him. I think Echenike probably could, but you know, I don't think Noonan and Albright are keen to do that. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else realistically. There was an Evander rumor out there. I'm sure,
which I'm not engaging with, because that's too horrid to contemplate, like losing Evander at the summer window. And also, not for nothing, like the rap on him in Portland was that he checked out as soon as management told him no about something that he wanted.
Something to keep an eye on. Now,
I heard that's way more complex. I heard that is a way more complex situation, and that it was very clear that Portland was in the wrong on that.
Yeah.
But you know, put a pin in that a little bit.
In the abstract, like, everybody has a price, right? Like,
right.
Hell, Nick Hagelin has a price. If a team comes with a dollar value for Nick, you know, we will sell. Now, I assume that value is much higher than he would be worth, quote unquote, if he was, you know, not named Nick Hagelin. But still, the point remains, if somebody comes in with a dollar value that matches our valuation for Denke or Evander, by all means, we would sell. You'd be a foolish team not to have those conversations and those ideas. So, but yeah, I would say Yedlin and Orishano are your most likely movers this summer.
Has your opinion of this team changed as a result of the Columbus game?
No, because while watching the match, I was asked, as we were up 2-0, what score would actually make you feel comfortable that we would not lose? And I said, certainly not 2-0. We probably have to get to 4-0. Like, that's just this aligned with expectations. It is not what I wanted. We talked about it before. Like, I thought this team could win. I thought they should win. I thought they would win. I thought the vibes were going in the right direction. The start of the match proved that out, but it doesn't surprise me that they lost. Maybe by this much. I think 3-2 made more sense as a loss, but I don't know. How about you? Does this change how you view things? Did it skew how high you think this team could reach?
No, I think it's crystallizing sort of the view of the team a little bit. Yeah. And, you know, I don't think were we as bad as we thought this team was when they lost 2 and drew 1 in that week from hell a couple of weeks ago? And it's funny, Albright or Noonan talked a little bit about this. I forget which one, where it was like, well, you said we were that week wasn't, you know, I think Noonan said something to the effect of that week wasn't reflective of who we were. It was just a week.
Yeah, one bad week.
And one bad week doesn't undo all the good that this. And it's like, okay, yeah. But it also does kind of help you paint a picture of things. So I don't think we were as bad as we thought we were that week.
Yeah.
But I'm also very confident we're not as good as we thought we were in June.
Right.
And so we're sort of, we're sort of slowly coalescing around the idea that I think that this is a good but flawed team that does the routine things very, very well and just doesn't have that top end, not even special talent, because there's a lot of talent on this team. This is a team that just doesn't have the composure, I don't think, or the makeup to win in the biggest moments. And I think that's everybody. I think that's from the coaches on down to the players. This is not a big game team.
Interesting.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll become one. That happens. I mean, you see that in other sports all the time. You see that like in the NHL a ton, where a team will, rally together, rally around things and decide, you know what, we're going to grit this out. We're going to, lock in on the details, lock in on the mentals, and they go on and they win a Stanley Cup. That can happen.
Yeah.
But as this team is right now, I don't see the discipline. I don't see the tactical awareness. I don't see the grit that this team is going to need to win a playoff run or a Leagues Cup run or anything that we're looking for here. Which means we're looking at, like, I think, seeing if this team can win enough regular season games to be around for the Shield this year. I think that's where our trophy hopes are.
Yeah. A Leagues Cup would be funny. I have no hope
I just don't,
for
I
it.
don't,
Yeah.
I don't, do you believe if this team found itself in a Leagues Cup championship game, do you believe that the team that came out would be able to focus and lock in enough to win that game?
No,
I don't either.
it sucks.
Is that, and I don't even think it's Noonan. I think that just the collection of talent on the team. I don't think there are killers on this team. I know Grayson has made this point before. I don't think there are killers on this team. I don't think that there are people on this team that have that psycho energy, that hate to lose so much that they will quite literally do anything to prevent that from happening. I think there's maybe a couple of guys that are like that, but on balance, I don't think this team has enough psychos on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we saw that play out on Saturday. So,
yeah.
Chief. With that in mind, you want to look ahead to Wednesday?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's head on over to part 3. All right, we are back with part 3, and Chief, I feel bad. I did not mention this before on the last episode, where it would have been a little more timely, but one of the 12 out there that goes only by the mysterious name Andrew did not arrest our dear friend Das Harks at the airport. And I want to say thank you, Andrew, for letting Das Harks skate through unscathed. We appreciate any fudged paperwork you might have had to do to get him through
Get this guy in trouble. No, apparently he identified himself as one of the 12s to our dear good friend Max. So keep up the good work. Keep the rest of us safe for democracy.
Yes, absolutely. So speaking of democracy, Chief, we play Miami.
Right.
This has nothing to do with democracy. I just thought it'd be a funny
But,
transition.
I mean, we do refer to them as the great Satan of football. So
yes, of course. the great Gam serpent and Satan. Yes.
Praise be unto his name.
It's a quick turnaround after a brutal loss. We've talked about this team being mentally weak. I'm worried. I'm worried about this game. Maybe they show us some bounce back energy. That would be good.
It would be good.
For what it's worth, Messi and Busquets continue to go 90 minutes. This might be a tight turnaround. I really hate being the guy who's like banking on the star players being benched, but
it would be the funniest possible outcome.
It would make sense. Chief, did you? I sold my tickets to this game, I will say. Made a pretty penny.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just got to make a business decision. I get that.
It is very funny that there are like, if you sell 2 games out of your package every year, you could just pay for your season tickets every year.
Yeah, you get pretty close to that. But then I'm also, I think it'd be hilarious to watch what happens to the get-in price for this game the second they announce that, like, Messi's not traveling.
See,
which makes me wonder, do you think that there is, because I haven't heard about this yet, do you think that, like, if you're FC Cincinnati, you tell Miami, just keep a lid on that until, kickoff time when he's just not in the 11? Because we don't want people to be flooding our office with calls asking and demanding refunds. Like, we can wait till the next day for that, right?
You almost need a thing where, like, no matter what, Messi has to travel and sit on the bench just to, like,
yeah, just so people can see him.
Yeah. And there's some plausible deniability of like, he felt tightness in warm-ups. Like, okay. So he was going to play, but we just got a little unlucky.
Right.
Looking at their team form is hilarious because, good, solid 2-1 victory over Nashville. Well done. A 2-1 victory over New England Revolution. Classic. 4-1 victory over Montreal. As we all know, that was expected. A 4-0 loss to PSG. And a 2-2 draw against Palmeiras. I
mean... Yeah, it's just a normal couple of days at the office for your average MLS team, right?
Yeah, just classic lineup. I think, given that Chelsea beat PSG 3-0 in the Club World Cup final, which I guess I should say congratulations to you, but I don't know if you're allowed to root for Chelsea when Mamelodi Sundowns are also in the same competition.
Well, once they were eliminated, like, we had to default back to where we needed to be. There could have been some conflicted loyalties had, my Sundowns made it that far, but no. Congratulations to the Blues, greatest team in the world, just what we've always suspected and known.
Yeah. So Miami apparently fits in right in there with these other teams that can lose to the big super clubs in Europe.
So if you had to guess right now, what is the get-in price to this game?
So we're talking the cheapest available ticket in the Bailey, $180.
$180? $153 is the get-in price for a pair.
Okay.
If you just want one and you're okay just being like going in by your lonesome, $127.
Ooh, a little bit of a discount.
I know, right?
Is somebody selling 2 individual Bailey tickets and that is somehow cheaper than buying 2 Bailey tickets as a package? Because that would be very funny.
No, because I think this person was only selling 1 Bailey ticket.
Like literally,
and the other one is like, right. The other person's like 2 together.
Gotcha.
Which I don't get why it wouldn't be the option. Just buy them as they go. It's Bailey tickets.
Yes,
somebody gives a fuck.
That doesn't make any sense.
I guess because you probably priced them a certain way. There was a price at $153 each.
I guess.
I don't know. Magnets, how do they work? Yeah, for the low price of $573, you can be down 2 rows from the field, which is exciting, I'm sure.
Are pitch view seats available? How much does a pitch view seat cost you?
Pitch view seat. Yeah, how much is that going to set you back for an all-inclusive Wednesday? An all-inclusive Wednesday with your boy Leo. $448. Lowest $488, lowest price to get into the pitch view club.
That's in the comparison, or within the context of the other tickets. That's a good deal,
right? I'm not going to say how I know, but I know people have paid more for significantly worse seats.
Yeah. Look, if you're already out $200-$300 for First Financial, you might as well spend the extra $100 and get the all inclusive.
Right?
Oh, man.
So the big question for this game for me,
please,
and I'll start with you. If they win this game, does it change your feelings retroactively about the hell is real? Like, are you more okay with it if they go in and they beat Miami?
I want to say no, but the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Like, I want to believe that this team is firmly cemented in the top tier of teams in this league, whatever that looks like. I don't care how wide or how large that tier is. If it's 8 teams, if it's 3 teams, I want Cincinnati there. I think beating Miami helps keep us there, if not puts us there. I think losing to Columbus and Miami and having lost to Philadelphia earlier in the year, I think it firmly puts us in, at best, the second tier of teams, which would be unfortunate. And as a fan of this team, I live and I die based on the public perception of my team. So that would mean a lot. But I don't know how much for you is the Columbus loss. Is it like college football where you can win, you can go 12-1 or 10-1 or whatever, but if that one is the rival, you're always got a warm seat and things aren't looking good.
No, I don't think it's like college football like that. I think that for me, like the rivalry aspect of this is now that you have lost to them in the regular season, you must finish higher than them in the standings, and you must go further than them in the playoffs. Like you've lost the ability to say, well, we beat you in the regular season. Like you have to give your fans something else to say scoreboard about.
Yeah.
And that means either winning a trophy. So
always good.
Leagues Cup.
Yep.
Leagues Cup would be great. We can be like, yeah, well, we won Leagues Cup. Fuck you. Winning a MLS Cup is the ultimate trump card, which, would be neat. And then you have to deal with them, be like, even in your best year, you couldn't beat us. Like, okay, fine. Star with a badge. We're cool.
Right. Right.
But yeah, no, you got to do something like that. Now the pressure's now you have added the pressure to your seat a little bit. If you just would have drawn, fine. We split the points. Everything's okay. If you would have won, we could have said, yep, one on aggregate. That's great.
Yep.
Now we got to do some, we got work to do if we want to make sure that we're keeping things up for fan content, which I know they care about. I know they care how we feel about all this. Yeah, if we beat Miami, I'm probably retroactively okay with losing Hell Is Real. Because then what I can tell myself is that, they got caught looking ahead to Miami. It happens that the real big game was midweek versus the GOAT. So
yeah, we diminished the Columbus rivalry.
It's like, look, I get that you all find this to be very important, but like we had the GOAT coming in our building. Like we played him in our building. We didn't need to go sell out to some NFL stadium to make a buck.
They wouldn't understand. Right.
Yeah,
right.
you wouldn't understand how important it is to host the greatest player of all time in your building and beat him for the second straight year. 2 straight times he has played at our stadium, and we've just beaten the shit out of his team. I guess he didn't play the last game, did he?
No, he did not. And I don't even think he traveled.
Yeah.
No,
look, don't let facts get in the way of a good story. That's rule number 1 in life. Don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
It's still his team. Busquets was there. He got a red card.
His team. That's exactly right. Like, look, we're having their team in. You don't get it. We had bigger things we were concerned about right now. I could live with that level of cope.
Yeah. It's so funny too, in the context of Kai telling us that like some of the players were even looking ahead past the Chicago game at Columbus. That like if FC Cincinnati is just perpetually looking ahead, and that is actually their problem. So when Miami comes, they're actually looking ahead to the Diego Luna game, and they don't really care about Miami.
They're already mentally on to Salt Lake City before Miami even comes into town.
And then we travel to Salt Lake and like, oh damn, we got that Miami game coming right back at us. Like, hey guys, maybe focus on the game ahead of you.
Guys, focus right here, this field right now. Go win. Do something.
If you're just going to focus on one team at a time, make it the one you're literally playing, please.
Look, we're always trying to plan ahead. We never want to be a team that doesn't have a plan. So no, plan now.
Yeah,
don't plan ahead. Plan for now.
That's too far ahead. Yeah. Oh, man.
I think we've solved the problem.
That's it. They were looking too far ahead. Chief.
Yes.
How's this one going to play out? Like, we're going to roll out the exact same lineup, maybe with a couple of, mysterious injuries that pop up between now and then.
Someone's got to get a rest. They've got to do some rotation just because they played. Well, I would argue that, everyone should be fresh after the effort they gave on Saturday. Hey, but there's a quick turnaround and a West Coast game coming up on Saturday, which we will be at.
Hey,
the hits keep coming. So I would guess that maybe good candidates for a rest might be a Luca Orishano, where you end up with, you start Angle out on the wing and then have a back line of Miles Miazga and Gilberto Flores.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, or Teenage, who did sub in.
Or Teenage. Yeah. You can get Teenage out there maybe. I don't think you rotate both Engel and Yedlin, but I mean, if you're going to rotate Yedlin, you might see an Alvis Powell start the game out in the out wide. I would be surprised if Kai Kamara starts as the second striker.
Yeah.
So if he's not available or if he's not starting, then maybe that's a spot for a Sergio Santos. If he's, I don't know what his status is or if he'll be available by the midweek. Maybe that's an opportunity for Dotto to play up top. I know we haven't looked as good without that true second striker up top. So I don't know what you want to do there, but it just intuitively feels like having Kai go back to back on a Saturday, Wednesday is not the best.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is you have to win this one and you worry about your rotations on Saturday out in Salt Lake City, and that team becomes whoever's fit and available comes and starts that game.
Yeah, especially too when you look at like the impacts on the table. The Miami game is going to matter more than the Salt Lake City game. Like, if you lose to Salt Lake, obviously a bummer, disappointment. You don't want to lose games.
It would just be just a post-cast tradition of us going and then watching a losing game, a losing effort on the road.
God, they are going to lose, aren't they?
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's go ahead and bake that
Which
in.
makes this a must-win. This makes this a truly must-win game.
We have to bake that in.
Because they're staring a 3-game losing streak in the face if they lose this game.
Okay, so we got to win this game. Leave it all on the field. You put your best 11 out there, and then send FCC 2 to go play Real Salt Lake. And it's a nice little bonding experience for all the boys. And I think that's how you have to do this. So
and then just pray Miami decides this is their game where Busquets and Messi and Suarez all take a seat for a while.
Yes. God. And we play them again. Like, Saturday, July 26th. So in not too long after, they have played 3 matches already in July. July 5th, July 9th. And then yesterday on the 12th. So they've got to be tired. And Messi has now scored a brace in 5 consecutive matches. This is an MLS record. Of course it is. It's an absurd scoring rate. 2 goals a game for 5 games in a row. That's a brace, by the way, if people aren't super familiar with soccer terminology. A brace versus like a hat trick. So I don't know. Maybe he's on that streak. Maybe he doesn't want to let it go. But I could see them taking a break here, and then they go on the road to Red Bulls, and then they have us back home. So it would make sense.
No, we're not going to get that lucky.
Oh, come on.
No rest him versus Red. He'll take a seat versus Red Bulls.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't want them two losses in a row here would be just sort of like that would be for me. I don't say that I'm writing the epitaph for the season if they lose these 2 in a row, but it's kind of like it gets real hard to see this team's path to doing anything significant if you lose to 2 teams that should be your peers. Like you said, That's kind of definitive proof that we're a tier. I mean, to me, then at that point, you've got to say we're a tier below the favorites in the Eastern Conference. Not to say that this team can't get hot at the right time or other teams can get banged up and injured and we can have a favorable draw through the playoffs, kind of like New York did last year. But like you really start to have to reevaluate some opinions about this team, I think, if they go and they put forth another effort like they had on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing is, so looking ahead at the schedule, after that Miami game, you got the Leagues Cup break. We'll see what shakes out there. We get Charlotte at home. They've been a wildly different team than the one that beat us. And then it's, a trip to Portland, a trip to the LA Galaxy. Most of our games are at home. We got one last stop on the road against the Red Bulls, but like you could easily see this team finish the season on, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, an 8 game win streak like that. it feels almost plausible here. And I don't know, maybe we feel way better. And maybe this is just another one of those bad weeks, right? FCC has 2 bad weeks in the year and it traumatizes the fan base and we can never get over it. But when you look back in totality, this was a hell of a run and an incredible, season leading to 1 or 2 trophies, right? Like that narrative is super easy
as long as
to
it
write.
leads to 1 or 2, as long as it leads to 1 or 2 trophies. Yeah, you can.
That narrative is
just
super
find
easy
anything
to
in
write.
hindsight when you win a trophy. Let's be real here. Come on.
I don't know, but maybe we win the supportership. Maybe that's the trophy that we could pull off in that.
I feel like if they lose these 3 games right here, like if they lose to Miami, they lose to Charlotte, to Salt Lake City. I feel like that's it for the. Like I feel like the math is going to start having a problem mathing, because what are we? We are 1 point behind the Shield leaders. So yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Nobody feels great this year, which is helping us a lot.
Yeah. And as we discussed on the World's Gam, our tier list is holding strong, with the top 8 in Major League Soccer being the top 8. And then that next tier below of Orlando, Seattle, Portland, LAFC sort of floating around, hanging in there. But otherwise, this is Philly, San Diego, FC Cincinnati, Nashville, Columbus, Minnesota, Miami, Vancouver. That tracks. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Chief.
How you predicted?
Yeah, we got to predict this one. 1-0. We grind out a win.
You know how annoying that'll be? Like that they could hold that win, but they couldn't hold the win in Hell Is Real.
The 19-year-old kid beat us from Columbus, but
right, like a 19-year-old and Miles Robinson own goal.
Yes, but Messi, Busquets, etc., Suarez. Yeah, no, they're fine. We got that.
Does he play? Is question number 1.
Yes, but he doesn't start.
I take that
Yeah,
probably.
he comes in at halftime, I'll say.
I'm going to say 2-2 draw with Messi scoring the brace.
How would we feel about that right now? Let's like pre-coach ourselves for when that happens. How do we feel about that now?
I think that anything other than a win here is we're in tier mode. That like at our we lost 2. We out of a possible 6 points on a 2-game homestand, we took 1 point. It's just not getting it done. Like that's not winning. That's not winning in MLS. You're not going to win long term like on those numbers, I don't think.
Yeah, man. And yeah, I think not getting a win against Miami has us doing a lot of extra scoreboard watching for the last half of the year versus just like being confident that our team will constantly be up top. Then it's going to be a lot of root against anybody playing against Philly, root against anybody playing Columbus and Miami. Not that you're not already doing that, but like the season being successful hinges on that.
Right. Or, suddenly deciding that they can play against Monterey and win.
It would be so funny. I'm getting pre-mad at this, beating Monterey and Chivas and losing to Juarez. Dope.
Or like getting is it group stages at Leagues Cup format now, or how are they doing this? I think it's group stages, right?
I think so. Do we?
But then
no, it's weird. God damn it. I just got mad again. It's like, yeah, there's a whole lot of like the highest point team. Like you're in a table and like a Swiss table. And so like if you get so many points, you get to go advance. They released a whole like video breakdown on how this tournament works. It's super annoying.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
No, because I was going to say the funniest possible outcome would be getting out of group versus that and then losing to like New England.
So that is the one thing that it is sort of built in to do, which is like you have to play teams from the other league all the way through the final or something like that. So, but we could go then just lose to like a bad League MX side and that would still hurt. So,
yeah.
Oh,
Neat.
God.
We're getting pre-mad about things that haven't happened yet, which is exciting.
That's how you know we're good. So folks.
So 2-2. That's where I'm at right now.
I like it. That's the way it's going to go. Obviously, since we predicted it, one of those two ways. I know this isn't the podcast anybody wanted, and I appreciate you sticking with us through the audio issues in part one, but I don't know.
We'll make it up. We'll make it up for you when we're out in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
All right. Like, what will make for better content in Salt Lake? Losing or winning?
Winning and being obnoxious in our seats from. Because I want like a fan cam on us during the game, so that we can.
God, you know how special is like we're gonna like going out to Salt Lake. It's like on a 2-game losing streak after losing to Miami and Columbus back to back. It's like, you guys just want to bail on this?
we got to go with like the paper bag, over
yeah, no,
thing.
it's like what's going on here, guys? We're gonna fly out to Mormon country to watch this team?
Why did we do this? Yeah,
this is a terrible idea.
It is exactly what happened when we went to New York, by the way. So
yeah. Like midway through the game, that stadium was like, this was a dumb idea. Why are we doing this?
We had really good pizza right after that, though, so that was good.
That was really good. And like, but I was so bummed I wasn't even like filming in there. Like I went back to edit the episode. And it was just like 30 seconds of B-roll because I was just checked out at that point. I was mad.
Oh man, that was good pizza, and I really liked that. Like the biggest sign in the pizzeria was this is where they filmed Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, come on, Spider-Man 2, it's classic.
Which Spider-Man 2? At this point, there's 3 of them. So.
The answer is yes, whichever one you want.
Actually, wait, did Garfield get a sequel?
Maybe? No, I don't think he was that like one of the plot points that he didn't get a sequel?
Yeah, I think so. The Amazing Spider-Man, right? I think that was.
Did they make an Amazing Spider-Man 2? Feels like something we would have covered in the first segment. Let's see here, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I need you to solve this before we leave.
Yes, it did. They did make an Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I never saw either one.
No, neither did I. Until the most recent Spider-Man movie, I had never seen Andrew Garfield on screen as Spider-Man. I just wasn't into either one of those.
I thought he was a pretty good Spider-Man in the one movie where he got to come back with the other Spider-Man.
Spider-Man sucks a little bit for me. It's a nerd wish fulfillment movie.
Yeah.
It's like dweeby kid gets bitten by a spider and all of a sudden is like, not dweeby anymore.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, no, Spider-Man was always lame. I always thought he was stupid. Spidey sense is dumb.
It is a pretty bad superpower because
no, it's a great superpower. It just sounds stupid. Like my Spidey sense is tingling.
But you only get it if like you're in danger, and you'd assume that like a competent superhero would never like be surprised into danger, or if they would be able to handle it. Like if you sneak up and punch the Hulk in the back of the head, that's kind of on you, but like Spider-Man, that might kill him, and that's why he has to have the Spidey sense.
Or is that like it's ultra terrifying, like when you get the sense that like, oh, I'm in danger, this must be really bad.
Okay, fair. So I don't know. Maybe it is worthwhile if you have a constant, stream of alien monsters attacking you. Then yes, that would be useful. Right. I will concede the point.
But like when you're just hanging around New York on like the subway platform, I just don't think you're ever in danger as Spider-Man. So I don't think that's going off ever.
Right. So then like you're just a guy in a weird outfit.
Well, also, I guess he's not going to take the train in his outfit. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah. So then again, like, what's the point of the stupid power?
I don't know. Just swinging from building to building, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, well.
Well, in the saddest possible way. Fuck Columbus.
The Cincy Postcast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They are a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, I say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever. Just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. Think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. A even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon. But maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.